Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades. Gas masks and hand grenades.
Welcome to Gas Masks and Hand Grenades. I am your host, Jeff, and I got these Jersey boys with me over here. Mr. Vince, you're digging, bro. You're digging.
Yeah, I know. Hold on.
I've got the Evoken guys here with me, Mr. John Paradiso and Mr. Vince Verkay. Guys, thank you for joining me on a Sunday afternoon. I believe you guys just came from rehearsal, I think.
Actually, we didn't today. Almost. We had
No?
power outages last night into today because of a storm. So
this is why it takes us so long to write records. Like,
yeah,
power outages.
there's always something going on.
New York, is that Met Ed? Who is that? Is that who is that? New Jersey Power and Light? What is that?
PSE&G, yeah. Public Service, Electric and Gas.
Well, guys, sorry. So, are you at your rehearsal space then, or?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
This is the way it happens.
The Boohoo Room.
Okay. Well, listen, man. We're here to talk about the first new platter of hot hits from Evoken here, right?
Lady Gaga approved.
The singles, the 3-minute singles that you guys always put out, right?
Yes.
And we're talking about the new album that comes out, I believe, October 17th on Profound Lore called Medacium. And I don't have a copy yet. I have my pre-order in with Decibel. True story.
We don't have it either.
What's that? Oh, you don't have
We
me
don't
either.
have
Yeah,
it
right.
either.
I'm going to pull up the artwork here quick just to show everybody what it looks like here. Can y'all see that there?
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Oh, why is it not blown up? All right, there we go. There it is right there, Medacium. So, and you got the old logo back, which is super cool.
Yep.
Actually, let's start there. Was there a reason that you guys went back to the old logo? Because you had switched to a more legible, readable. And I have to say, I love a lot of. We just talked it behind the scenes here a little bit. I'm an old head here, and the logos just keep getting harder and harder to fucking figure out what you're looking at anymore. And it's like, why do it? Like, talk about an anti-sales, thing, right? It's like, make it as unlegible and illegible as possible. I think
that's popular now too. Like, you see fucking kids wearing them, and they're not even into metal.
True.
It's weird.
Weird. So. What made you go back to the old logo though? And I would posit after listening to this album, maybe there's a bit of this album's a bit of a throwback in some ways. Was that sort of in there, that thinking, or?
Well, the old logo we used because the artwork. It's always about the artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It has to fit with that. So we couldn't imagine just putting, regular text Evoken or a box letter version that we have. It's just the old logo fit the artwork. And it simply comes down to that.
Well, actually,
I think it had a little bit to do with going back to our old style a little more too. It was like just giving the fans like a sense of like, oh, here they go, they're going back to the old records. So
right.
That was kind of like subconsciously put it. I think that's why too.
Well, so let's talk about the title. I kind of want to, since we're on this topic, we'll go down this road a little bit and then come back, because I want to go back into the history of the band a little bit for those of my subscribers that maybe don't know a lot about you, that might just happen onto this, this interview relative to some of the other things that I do, because I do tend to try to pull a wide swath of I'm not just a death metal or a doom metal, or I listen to fucking Miles Davis. I listen to a lot of different things. So I do want to get into a little bit of the history. And in fact, by the way, Alex Lifeson's people called today and they said that he's a huge Evoken fan. Just saying.
And he's going senile.
But talk about the title, because in looking up Medacium, it's a word I had to think about. I was like, oh, mendacious. Okay, all right. But to be very blunt with you, everybody that watches my channel knows that I have no ego whatsoever. Right. But the bottom line is, I'm a college guy. I feel like I'm a pretty loquacious speaker, and I know all the bigly words, but this was a word I literally had to look up, and it's a Latin word that means a lie, an untruth, or a falsehood, i.e., mendacious, given to lying, or the tendency to lie.
Right.
Is this, how does that tie into the concept of the artwork? How does it tie into the concept of maybe the lyrical content? What's the overall message going on here? Is it a commentary on where we are at in history right now, where we don't know what is a lie and a truth anymore out there? With social media, with the media itself, the MSM, and our politicians and our doctors and our lawyers and everybody fucking lying to us. Is it that, or is there a more specific thing related to maybe like religion?
It's on the
All
surface
those
level. On the surface level, it's religion. My disdain for it.
And that was that comment that went out with the promos from Seneca, I believe. That do you guys know that off the top of your head? I didn't write it down like an idiot. Something like a lie is.
The quote.
Yeah.
That religion is real to the common people, false to the wise, and useful to the powerful.
And that is so where we are at right now in history, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We live it every damn day, right?
I noticed what really triggered it too is just in the very beginning of the pandemic. I found this like weird YouTube page, and it looked like literally something you would see out of the Olympics. So you had like the country name, and then you had the listing of people that were infected, the ones that were dead, the ones recovering, and ones recovered. And the chat room, there's had to be like 130, an ungodly amount of people in this room.
Right.
So I'm looking at the screen, and they have this really, just ramping it up with this really mournful music playing, like just to make everybody even more miserable. But I was watching people, you had to like really scroll back to see. And I watched people in a panic, like parents who said they had to stay positive for their kid. But they were like, if my husband goes, then who's going to take care of my kid? He's going to be a foster child. You saw a lot of that, but you saw a lot of people just like, I never believed in God or the apocalypse or any of that, but now I completely believe in God. And I started praying today, and I was just like, wow.
How easily led we are by things now like social media. I mean, the whole term doom scrolling. And I must admit, I do it, man. Like I fucking hate that I do it, but I do it because that's what it was created to do, to sow this division, to sow fear into every aspect of our lives. And so, yeah, I totally get it. And I think it was there before the pandemic, but the pandemic really kind of put a spotlight on it, right?
It's been there for centuries. That's why I picked that particular period, because I remembered prior when I was on a deep dive of for Archer Moore's about the bubonic plague, and I could see the similarities in it was like parallel in the way things were happening, where just people started believing anything that was told to them to comfort them. They were all, and 99.9% of them was all lies. And so they followed like sheep.
In 2012 was when the world was supposed to end. You remember?
Right. The Aztec, the Mayan,
was it
the
was supposed to be the last record to be released on Earth. Was going to be over.
And you're probably thinking maybe it should have. No, but I'm just kidding. But I mean, there's always been these epochs and periods of time where everything's ending, and it all ties back to I'm an atheist, and I'm assuming maybe you guys might be, or am I maybe not?
I don't know what's out there. I'm not an atheist, but
More
I'm not a
science,
religious.
scientific,
More science
yeah.
than anything, and that kind of points in a direction of like there might be something after, not the way it's portrayed to us. But
The reason I say that is that for me, you know, I've thought about this often, and I'm dealing with some real serious health issues, and I keep thinking about, it's not the being dead part that scares me, it's the dying part. It's the part of getting sick. It's the part of trying to stay who I once was when I can't physically anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fear that we all have. That's a universal fear that every human being deals with. And so as humans, we try to create these narratives or belief systems that there is something to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
That this wasn't all just a pointless exercise, being here and then just, you know, existing and then just not existing anymore. Are there, who writes the thematic elements of the, or do you do it as a group? Do you come up with it as a concept as a group, or who writes the lyrics, or do you...
I do
He's the mastermind.
the concept, the lyrics.
Yeah, Vince. I give it all to Vince.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the lyrics. I did very last. They always come at the very end.
So you guys have the music first?
Yeah, the music dictates.
I'm like the creator of the music mostly.
Okay.
And then Vince is my, he is the lyricist.
So you're like the Neil Peart to John Paradiso's Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee.
Or Gene Hoglan.
Or there you go. That's true. But Gene Light writes a lot of the music too, though.
Yeah,
Steve Harris wrote lyrics also, right?
Steve. Yeah, absolutely, man. How do we'll jump into that real quick before we jump backwards here. How do a lot of your songs begin life? Do they begin life, John, with you demoing full demos or skeleton demos, or do you actually get it, or do they come also from rehearsal jams where you just start riffing and you start to fall in line, or is it all the above?
It's all the above, but most of it is I'll be home by myself and I'll come up with a riff. Since our songs are 10 minutes long, the riff is like 3 minutes. Like, you know,
you repeat sections.
So like I'll bring that to rehearsal. We'll just start riffing off of that and, you know, coming up with composition changes and adding things in, removing things if it needs to be, and then until it feels right. That's why it takes quite a long time to come up with these songs, because we don't want to be just riffing on one riff for 30 minutes like some bands do. I'm not naming any bands, but
I know.
Some bands get into like they'll just be playing a sequence for like 15 minutes long, and it's just like we want to. Yeah, it's cool for them, but we want to. We're still obsessed with black metal, death metal, goth metal, and we love to just like incorporate all of that and change it around. And I think the last record, Medacium, is like a fine example of all those things that we love to do, wrapped up in one. So.
Well, okay, so Vince, you're the OG, right? I mean, you've been there from more or less the beginning when the band was Funerus originally, and then you kind of transitioned.
Yeah, I joined. Nick had come to me in April of '92 that he was starting a band with two other guys, Rob and Phil, and they were looking for a drummer. And they had drummers down, I think 2 drummers, 1 session, but they were so used to playing quick, they couldn't quite get the slowing down part.
Okay.
So he was just like, I know you're, are you available to help? I'll send you the tape. And I was like, absolutely. Because I was already into the slow.
Was that your first band, or had you done stuff?
I had done stuff before, but it wasn't like real bands. Like, you play in a garage with your friends doing garage covers. I played with Bill from Disma for a little bit. I was in a hardcore punk band called the Psychedelic Marshmallow Rangers.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's good.
That's the first I've heard of that.
That's good.
Kept that secret a long time.
Wait, you've been in a band with this guy for 40 years? You just heard that?
30 years. I just heard that.
30 years. Okay. Wow. All right.
I thought I mentioned it. I guess not. But and then Evoken was like the real band.
Well, okay, so in Funerus, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't have time to check out the demo. So the demo from '92. What are you guys, and John? You jump in because you come in '94 when the band then transitions to become Evoken. But what are you guys listening to at that time, and what are you playing? If you're not playing in Evoken yet, John, what are you doing? Are you in a band as well too? Kind of like coalesce like where you guys are coming from when Evoken kind of creates itself and what the obvious influences are. We know the Thergothen and the Paradise Lost and the the disembowelment, paramecium, those kind of things like that. Those are kind of esoteric. Greg's a good buddy of mine. Those are some of the very, very OGs, right? And you guys are right on that. I don't want to call you second wave, but you're right on maybe the first and a half wave of that, right? Would you agree with that? What are you listening to in your lives at that point in time? And I don't want to add you guys don't have to tell how old you are, but for me, I'm a 70s kid. So Kiss, Rush, I'm not a 70s kid. I was born in the 60s, but I grew up in the 70s. So my gateway band absolutely is Kiss. Kiss Alive is the album that's like, that's the shit right there, right? Now I listen back, that's kind of Mickey Mouse, to be honest with you, but it's still good stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. What do you guys? What's in this melting pot of Evoken creation material? This DNA.
What were you listening to? Def Leppard, right? That was like your number one.
What?
Def Leppard.
Yeah, I was like, this came out. My first record I ever bought, I think, was Pyromania. It was my friend that bought it to take to school. Set, and he let me hear it. Well, I never heard it. I was just like, this is amazing. So I went to borrow it from him, and not to get sidetracked, but his uncle was a roadie at the time for different bands, a local thrash band called Slaughterhouse. So I went to
remember
his
those.
house. Yep, we went to his house to get the tape he left there so I could borrow it. And he's like, "Oh, my uncle's home." So we went up to his, he lived in the back house, and his uncle's in there, and he's these dudes sitting on a couch, just hanging out, talking, and everything. He's like, "Oh, come on in." And he's just like, he introduced my friend to the guys in the band and everything. And he's like, "And these guys are Testament."
What?
So
No
there's
way.
Testament sitting there. I was like, "What the?" At the time, I had no idea who Testament.
Well, Megaforce, Johnny Z, right? Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm just getting into like the hard rock part. So when they said, "Oh, it's Testament," I'm a little kid. I'm like, "Hi," and then didn't realize it until years later when I started going to more, thrash and death metal and stuff.
So you guys are about a decade younger than me, I'm gonna guess, somewhere in that range.
I'm 55.
Oh well, you're not that far behind me then, John.
No.
Yeah. Because Vince, you say Pyromania. I saw that tour with Gary Moore and Crocus opening at City Island in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Because I live near, kind of in between Philly and Harrisburg. And so my first album was On Through the Night for Def Leppard.
I love that album.
Yeah. So I mean, my first song I learned on guitar was Wasted. It was like that was the riff. Yeah. So John, how about you? What stuff is brewing in your wheelhouse there? Because maybe a little older.
Like my first band was like a destruction creator worship band, like 85, 86.
Okay.
Covered Mad Butcher and Flag of Hate, stuff like that. And then I was in like more like I was a Sepultura worshiper. Like, loved Igor, Max, and did covers of those songs. And then when I read the band wanted a guitar player singer, I was reading an article in the paper. I never heard of the bands that they mentioned until Craig from Disma and what was his first band? Incantation.
Well, he was in Incant, right? Yeah, for that first.
Anyway, he told me about I should check out this band called Disembowelment, and then it was just changed everything from there. Of course, I was already into Entomb, death metal. I was into Autopsy, because of Death, of course. I went through all that stuff, and then like Disembowelment was the thing. I've never heard anything that heavy or that mixing of like Middle Eastern sounds and with death metal and slow atmospheric song. I never heard that before, so that was like game changer for me. And then when I joined them, like, oh, okay, you guys are kind of doing the same thing. So it was great, but I had to get used to it because I was singing like I was like sepulchral clone. Everything was
So
like,
you were more of a thrash kid.
yeah, death metal, thrash, death,
Yeah,
obituary,
right.
and like
The
even my
Florida
guitar
sound.
wasn't set up for these guys. It was like regular guitar. I was trying to tune it to the right tuning. It was like disaster. And I had to do the first EP with Nick's guitar.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't even use my guitars. I had no idea what I was in for, like to set everything up the right way. And
Well, that's a good question. What do you guys do? You use a couple different tunings, or what's your standard tuning? Is it C?
the first EP was B,
B.
like in
Okay.
tune, and then we heard the Esoteric demo.
Right.
And we're like, oh my god, it's the heaviest thing ever. So then we decided that we have to tune down a little heavier, a little lower, kind of match it sonically. So we can't put the next record out and be a step above them. We want to be as heavy and low as possible, and we stayed at A ever since.
Oh, you've been in A. You stay at A standard or drop or no?
Straight across.
Okay. Wow. Shit.
All the way down.
And if I recall, are you playing a PRS?
I'm playing I got an Ibanez Iceman that you saw when I played Maryland Death Fest.
Oh, that was the Iceman then. Okay. I was on Randy's side, so I couldn't see exactly because you guys. It's not exactly like you guys play with a lot of lights on. It's pretty dark.
So Les Paul, and the Iceman, pretty much.
Yeah, you definitely when you're tuning that low. So that's Ripicaloo. That's Demolich, that kind of stuff like Demigod stuff like that.
Woo,
yeah, what a banger of an album. I went down to Philly last night to see my friends Diva, who are the Crypt Sermon guys. I don't know if you know those guys or know of them. Yeah. So Steve and those dudes are all good buddies of mine. And by the way, while I think of it, the direct support band, and maybe you know these guys because when I mentioned you last night to them that I was doing an interview with you guys, Bob the drummer was like, "Oh my God, tell them I said hello." These guys, hang on, Satanic Magic.
Satanic Magic, yes, that's Rob, a sound guy.
Yeah,
Rob.
Okay. The drummer, the drummer is that him? Bob,
He's like the sixth member of Evoken.
Dude, he is the fucking coolest guy ever. That guy, I'm gonna have these guys on. They're so cool, man. It's like
Jesse too.
It's like if Venom and Motorhead had a baby with Nicolas Cage singing. That's what I said to him, and Bob's like, "Dude, that's awesome, man. We're gonna steal that." So we're gonna have these guys on. So they were killer. Diva was amazing last night, but on the way down, I don't know how I missed this record back in the day. I just don't understand it. But I was listening to Demigod's album, man. Oh, fuck! The riffs on that are just chef's kiss riffs, right?
I have the demo in the next room with it's like Lord of Putrefaction, Demolich, Demigod, Disaster's Murmur,
Convulse, all those Finnish bands, man, they're so cool. So, real quick, back to you, Vince. Like when you guys start transitioning into being Evoken, are you already in the Funeral Doom thing now at this point in the early part of that when you're doing the demos, right?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't Funeral Doom at the time. They were just call it like Extreme Doom.
Well, the Thergothen was, and Skepticism, I think, is pretty much.
The term wasn't around when we were there. Red Stream, I think, started that with Skepticism.
Right, Red Stream, yeah.
But we were listening at that point, going from In Funarius, it was like the diSEMBOWLMENT demo was what we focused on.
That was the thing. That was the impetus. Okay, gotcha.
And then moving along, we heard that's when we heard Thergothen, and then it just went downhill from there.
Well, there's a lot of Peaceville 3 too, obviously, right? I mean, you definitely hear a lot of early Paradise Lost Paradise.
Frozen Illusion demo. Woo.
Oh yeah, a little bit of the early Serenades era, maybe. Anathema 2 is kind of in there, and obviously, My Dying Bride, of course.
Yeah, As the Flower Withers, Symphonaire, Catching Feathers.
this is the first out. What was okay? Backing up just one sec. What was the New Jersey, New York death metal scene like in the late '80s, early '90s? As you guys are young men at this point in time, right? So, late teens, early young men. What was happening there? Was there anything happening?
Oh yeah. It was a lot of bands were coming out. You had bands like Revenant. You had Rigor Mortis, later Immolation, Incantation,
Suffocation.
Yeah. This area is very congested, so it was a pretty good, healthy.
It was a great scene.
Yeah.
We guys hitting a lot of shows as young dudes.
Yes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
CBGBs, those places.
CBGBs,
I was at Autopsy at the Tilt in Manhattan.
Yeah, with Incantation.
I was thrashing and I was hitting Nick with my hair. I didn't know who these guys were.
Oh really?
Like, this annoying kid is just like whipping me with his head. And I was like screaming like the lyrics to Chris. I was like, ah.
Right.
Like about maybe like a month later, I called him up and like Nick kind of remembered like, oh, you were that guy that was whipping me with your hair.
You were that fucking pain in the ass kid, right?
Then I think your girlfriend jumped up on stage.
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
My ex-girlfriend Tara, she was into taking pictures of bands, and she like muscled her way. She like this little 105-pound girl, like barreling her way through to get pictures of the guys on stage.
Was it now? You guys, you're on the Jersey side of, right? You're in Jersey. You're in the upper right across the river, right from Manhattan. Yeah. Okay,
it's like 20 minutes away. 25 minutes.
So you just take the tunnel over, or ferry, or what?
We pretty much take the Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel.
And you guys are still all there, located in that area?
Vince and I'm in Bayonne. He's here in Kearney, and we have one guy in Long Island, Don, keyboard player. Another guitar player is down South Jersey. The new guy, Randy. And Dave in like Yonkers, like up in New York.
So he's a little bit up north, yeah. So. What? Now you two guys are kind of the cornerstones of the band, obviously. I mean, you've been there since the very early '90s. Vince, you've been there since the beginning. Did you realize in the beginning that this was not going to be the type of music that was going to just explode and be Metallica massive or that kind of thing? Like, did that ever strike you as like, if we want to be rock stars, this ain't the genre to be in, right?
No, we wanted the opposite. We wanted less people hearing us.
No, that's not true. That is true.
For Funerarius, that was like one of the things. It was like they wanted people to like be kind of like, I ain't fucking with this, Just,
Vince, you sound like fucking Peter Steele, dude. You sound like Peter Steele. Like that's what Pete would probably say, right?
Yeah.
Did you know Pete? Do you know the Typo guys?
We brought into them a
too
few
personal.
times.
Not personal.
Okay.
Much, but
was that when those guys?
We worship those guys.
I was just gonna say that's a very another point of reference in some respects, especially. Like listening to the new album, John, there's the clean sound you go for, that really ethereal, affected, chorusy, sort of washy. It's got that. It's very early Paradise Lost, Greg McIntosh. It's very Kenny Hickey. And I'm not saying that you didn't have it early back then too, but what I'm getting at is like when I listen to bands, I always am like, oh, that sounds like that guitar player, or that sounds like that guitar. It's just
the same thing. Yeah.
As a fan, that's what you do, right? You know what I mean? And so like, for example, when we get into the album here shortly about like track by track, I might get your thoughts on it. I was like, oh, that's the Kenny Hickey part right there. I hear that big time. You know what I mean? So, were you guys big Carnivore fans?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
High school. Yeah, it was. I saw Carnivore, Death, and Whiplash at the Animal Hall in Brooklyn.
What year was that?
To drive me and my friends over to Brooklyn.
What year was that? You remember?
It was like 86.
Wow.
I was like 15, 16 years old. I wasn't even driving yet. And
that's
I helped
crazy.
Chuck on stage with his speaker cabinet. So I remember Chuck was like, wearing like a really strange like gray leather jacket. Like he always dressed like different from all the other metalheads.
Yeah, he did. He
had his
actually
own
did.
style.
Yeah.
He didn't care, like, you know, like,
Yeah.
it was like, and I was like, who is this clone? I was like, kind of like, who is this guy? And then
Who's
like, I
this
was like, oh my god,
this goober?
that's
This guy's a
Chuck.
goober. Look at this guy, man. What's up with
Yeah.
this?
Being all judgmental as a 15-year-old kid, you know.
Yeah, you were already in the scene. You were already like pegging
Had
out
my
the
battle
poses.
jacket on.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
super cool, man. I never got to see Death. I've seen pretty much all the other bands. I'm good friends with Kelly from Atheist, but I never got to see Death, man. It's somehow, like, I will admit, because I'm about, you know, I'm almost half a decade older than you, John. I didn't really come into death metal until Opeth. Like, my friend
Oh, wow.
Stephen Wilson's a good buddy of mine from Porcupine Tree, and we got to know each other like very early on in PT's career. I worked for their manager, and he's like, "Oh, Jeff, you like metal? You should check this band that I just produced." And it was Opeth, and I'd never heard of them.
Oh my god.
And that was my gateway drug. So I was kind of a late bloomer in a weird way, because I didn't really get into death metal until about 2001-ish or 2000.
All right.
Then I had a lot of catching up to do. I knew of Glenn Benton. I knew of Deicide. I knew of Obituary. I knew of Morbid Angel.
Right.
But to be blunt with you, back then when I listened to that music, I was like, man, this music is fucking killer. These vocals are terrible. These vocals are awful, man.
I don't understand what he's saying.
And now it's weird. I'd probably listen to 75% non-clean vocals. And like I went to see Dream Theater 2 nights ago on Friday night, because I haven't seen him in like 15 years. And I'm a John Petrucci worshiper, man. The dude is like fucking otherworldly.
Yeah, forget that.
But it's like, I enjoyed it. It was great. They gave 2 hours and 45 minutes of music. I was like, okay, I'm good, man. I'm old. I want to get off my feet, and you know. But I don't enjoy the clean vocals as much as I do the death vocals. It's so weird how that happened, right? You know?
Yeah, it's like, usually it's the reverse. You get older, you're looking for less of the growls, more.
You soften up. Yeah, you soften up. Yeah.
But Dream Theaters, I mean, I love the, you know, he's a talented singer, but I never, from day one, I never enjoyed his vocals. I just, something about it is like kind of annoying to me. His tone is this.
He has that nasal sort of tone.
Like,
yeah,
I love Yngwie Malmsteen's Marching Out.
Yep.
And like with Jeff Scott Soto, those vocals, I can listen to them all day long.
What about somebody like Jeff Tate, or like Ray Alder, or John Arch?
Yeah, they're amazing vocalists, but I was never into like the really like
high pitched stuff.
Yeah, like kind of like almost kind of fruity. I wasn't fruity in a bad way, but you know, like
I get you. Yeah. Just too saccharine, But that's why I struggle with death metal vocals, because I came from Geddy Lee, Rick Emmett, those high, clean, melodic singers, and then you introduce this, and you're like, man, the fucking music is wicked, but dude, your vocals are just shit, And then it happened somewhere along the line. It happened, but let's see.
It's meant to enhance this, like to make it more scary musically,
right?
And this other like demon singing along with this band, like it wasn't a human being. That's what we go for. But
you know what though? Like your vocals, the thing I have to give you is that. And even this is like Michael from Opeth, man. Like that guy had like one of the most ferocious growls like early on than anybody. It had that black metal thing, but it was also guttural and deep, but you could understand virtually every word he sang, right? Yeah. And then he would break into a super clean chorus and you'd be like, whoa,
beautiful.
What a voice, right?
Yeah.
But like your voice, John, is, I think it's pretty unique in the annals of funeral doom, because like I mentioned, Chandler and I are good buddies. I've had him on many times. Beautiful, awesome guy. And I told this to Greg a couple times. I'm like, man, that when I first heard Subconscious Dissolution, you can't make out a single word he's saying. You don't know what the lyrics are if you don't have the lyric sheet, right?
You find out there's 5 words in the whole song.
Yeah, and then you find right. But the funny part of it is too that I had this preconceived notion of Greg that he was going to be this fucking really difficult interview, that he's going to be like, and he's like the fucking nicest, friendliest, coolest guy. And you're like, you're not that evil fucking guy that I thought you were going to be. He's like, nah, not really, mate. Sorry about that. You know what I mean? And then I'm talking to you, and you're a Jersey boy. Hey, hey, I'm a Jersey boy. You know what I mean? Like you're like totally not. Hey, but or New Yorker, New Jersey, New Yorker, right? How did you learn, or when did you learn that you could do this with your voice? Because I cannot do that. I've tried, I can't do it.
Well, like I said, I was worshiping like Celtic Frost, Destruction, Creator, and then I was doing my best Max impersonation. Then when I joined them, I joined the Evoken. I remember the first take I did, first set of vocals I did for the Shades of Night Descending EP. I came out of the booth, and nobody was looking at me. I was like, guys, how was it? And we're like, can you sing lower? Like, I wasn't understanding.
Because you were doing more the raspy thrash
voice. Like,
voice.
you know, it's like kind of like shooting the dirty streets, you know, kind of like Max, you know, would do.
Yeah, and, the grunt.
Yeah, and then like it made me understand it, and I went back in the booth and I just like dropped it down as low as I could, and then but I still think I'm not the lowest singer.
No,
like, it's kind of like, you know, you can almost make out some of my growls.
Oh, you can make all your growls out. That's what I like about you guys. You can really understand what you're saying, and you do have moments where you go, I don't know if I call it melodic clean. It's more like a clean whisper spoken sort of thing that you do pretty effectively. I mean, there is some cleans there, but a lot of that's proper technique, lung technique. Did it take you a long time to kind of learn how to use your diaphragm to get that growl, or was it natural?
It was pretty natural from the beginning, but like when it comes to recording and laying down vocal tracks, it's like the moment you feel uneasy or like you feel like the guys in the other room can hear you and you're being judged, it destroys your like the way you feel confident about yourself.
Really?
So as long as like you feel like you're not embarrassed by it, or like, you know, like that's why like with the last record we went back to Ron Thal, produced it. He made us feel so comfortable because he knows us like inside and out, making like 3 records with us previously.
Right.
Yeah, I was like at my most comfortable. It just came out so natural and it's so easy this time around because like I didn't have that nervous feeling like of, you know, oh, they're laughing at me trying to sing, or like, you know, do I sound stupid?
Like, Vince, do you guys laugh at John? Do you laugh at John? Be honest. Be honest.
We laugh at everything. We laugh at everything, man.
Hey, John, you suck, bro.
The guy accidentally hits the button, like you hear the whole room. He really sucks today.
Turn the intercom on. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know, man, John.
And I forced Vince to do vocals on the record because.
Oh, really? This one, the new one?
Yeah, he's on. He's singing what song? Non. He's singing Non.
Wow.
And he sings the end of Compline, and his voice is the intro. The very first word you hear on the record in Latin, that's Vince.
Okay. All right. Okay.
And,
well, speaking of Vince, Vince has his head down a lot. I don't know if he's there or not. He's hiding from me. I think he's embarrassed of me. But Vince did like my hair. I heard him say that, so I'm good with that. That's all cool. Vince, I often think, we just talked about Dream Theater. Drummer Mike Portnoy, fucking insane, right? Okay, Neil Peart, God tier stuff, right?
Yep.
I often think, though, one of maybe the most difficult gig in metal is being a drummer of a funeral doom band, because, man, you can't hide behind a lot of tricky fills and a lot of flurries of notes and things like that. And you really have to have an impeccably good sense of feel and pocket for that.
Right.
When you started out, you said you were playing in a punk band, which is the exact opposite of that. It's pretty much just frenetic, like Bob.
Yeah.
For Satanic Magic, man. He's like, I told him afterwards, I'm like, dude, you remind me of Away from Voivod, where you're just on the verge of fucking everything collapsing. It's just frenetic, man. It's just like you're going ape shit, but you always bring it right back in. And it's like, man, that's fucking tight. That was tight, right?
Yeah.
How did you learn to kind of do this? Was it a process for you to become a funeral doom drummer, or was it natural?
The band I did with Bill from Disma, well, he had a lot of incantation influence. So there was like the slow riffs. You know, it would be like regular death metal and then would slow down. So that kind of like set me up so that I could play slow, you know, and be more in a pocket as opposed to just blaring all over the kit.
Right.
You don't even know if you fuck up when you're playing fast, nobody knows.
Nobody knows, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like that kind of prepped me to, once I joined Unarius Evoken, I was already, you know, playing slow. So it was just over a period of time just learning. When to hold back, you know, when to kind of like just let the music breathe.
Right.
And then maybe throw something in to accentuate it. That's a process over time.
And that's a great point about Evoken, and I guess Funeral Doom as a whole, but really in Evoken, I think it maybe more specifically than a lot of the other Funeral Doom bands that are out there, you guys do have these breathing spaces in your music that's the crawl. It's just this undulating sort of vibe that you just kind of you feel the music more than you even hear it in a weird way, if that makes any sense, you know. I kind of was thinking, and when I get to the notes up here, I forget which track I noted it, but I think it was Sext, where there's just this sort of eerie feeling of being in a cemetery at night, where the mist is kind of lifting off the grass and you're solitary and you're like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this to myself? Why do I want to be here and put myself through this? There's a stench to the music, if that makes any sense.
That's the idea.
Thank you, man.
That's the idea. That moldy,
decaying,
yeah.
Like those sections that breathe are kind of like decaying. They're like carbon decaying things. Like that space is like it's like decay. That's what it reminds me of a lot of the time. But beautiful decay in a lot of ways too, you know.
Oh, man.
I should probably write reviews, shouldn't I?
Yes.
I never heard someone describe it like it.
Well, I got a couple notes coming up here, and I want to get to the album because I don't want to keep you guys too long today. But how do you feel this new Evoken album, Medacium? How does it differ to past works? And how is it similar? Because for me, with you guys, there's always, with your past works, the first thing I notice with you guys is, and this is always the sign of great albums, is I have to work my way into them. They're not, generally when an album is immediate and an earworm, which is great. There's nothing wrong with earworms. They're cool. Right. But they tend to fade really quickly out of they're in, they're out, you know. I'll just, not to dog this band at all, Ghost, you know, they're a super huge band. They write these poppy.
I love them.
They write these poppy, almost Blue Oyster culty 70s psychedelic rock tunes but they don't have a lot of staying power with me, generally speaking.
Right. Yeah.
The albums I tend to love are the albums that kind of like they work their way into my brain after a while, where I got to go back to them and go, all right, I heard something cool there. I want to go back and see if what I heard was what I dug. And that's kind of what I love about Evoken. You guys are super consistent, and some might take that as, well, they put out the same album. That's not the case at all. But you're very consistent in your sound. You don't deviate. It's not like you suddenly do like 12, 13 time signatures, or I don't even know. I'm not a drummer, so I don't know if that's a real time signature. Sorry. It might not be. I'm not that out. Either. But it's like, do you kind of agree that is kind of your thing? It's the Evoken thing, is to make these fairly lengthy tracks that kind of crawl and ebb and flow, and they kind of reach an apex and then they kind of cascade down. What do you hear in this one that maybe is a little different versus what you've done in the past?
I think this one's a little more dynamic because usually like Antithesis is like one blast. This one has a couple, two blast beats. No, but
It was
just
that
a little
one section,
more.
that 112 bars there. Yeah.
It's this one's a little doom death. Even though I don't even think it's related to that, it's Evoken. That I don't know how to really like
Well,
properly
I
find
personally,
what
I
verbiage.
intentionally wrote these riffs to be more evil than the last record, like more like broken up chord, like wrong played chords, played backwards, like stuff that didn't, like it would be like anti-guitar lessons, like play a chord this way. No, I'm gonna play it this way because it sounds, when I break it up and I play the strings open, it sounds evil. It sounds like it's wrong, but something evil about it. I really wanted to focus on making this record feel like like you lost the will to live after you listen to it. It's like this is pure death to me. So, and I felt like the last record was a little too. It had its great moments, but sometimes it was a little nice.
Okay, so I'm glad you bring that up. That's a perfect segue, and I'll get Wings of Solitude. I'll get back to your question about the touring thing. Remind me, guys, because I want to talk about that a little bit. But I want to hit on that, John, because you really nailed that really, really well. The opening track, Matins, which is the single, which we're going to play at the end here, maybe when these guys dip out, or if they don't want to, and if they want to sit through listening to their track, they can do that. That's up to them. But, no, we don't want to do that.
Torturous, for God's sake.
I love Vince's response to me in email where I said, "Man, I want to absorb the album another 1 or 2 times. I've listened to it like 7 or 8 times." He's like, "I'm very sorry, man. I don't want to put you through that stuff." But that opening track, John, you come in with that ebo-ish sort of thing where it's just this lean in with this like fade in of the. And again, I go back to the ebo because were you using an ebo on that? Because it almost no.
No, it was Randy's riff. He just
Okay.
put like a ton of effect on it, and he's using a quarter, and he's
Oh,
just
so he's rubbing it across it.
He's just playing like a single note, like as fast as like
Yeah.
black metal speed.
Yeah.
And just with the effect, it just
because it almost sounds like an ebo or a slide, like almost like a
almost
slide.
Like it was.
And it builds, it washes in on you, and you're like, holy fuck, man. And then you come in with that riff, and you're like, wow, that might be one of the heaviest riffs you guys have done, man. It's just so fucking evil, like you said. It's just like, yeah.
That's what I was going for this time around. I'm not fucking around this time. I need to get us back to where we were respected as like one of the darkest bands on the planet, like so.
Well, here's what I wrote. Here's what I wrote. I'll see if you agree with this, because I said opening track Madden's has this eerie as fuck, ebo-ish saturated intro. It's creepy as hell. Those moaning notes that give where you're doing they're pitch bends, but they're not full on like blues bends. They're half bends. They're like microtonal bends, right? So you're not like doing the that it's like it whines and moans like a body dying, like that kind of feel, right?
Exactly.
But here's the funny thing I said was it gives way to kind of what I would say is your typical synth passage where you have these kind of really ethereal, drifting sort of synths, right? But it's got a much more cinematic nightmare quality on this song than you brought it up. So that's why I'm going to say it. Hypno felt a little bit more uplifting, a little happier overall, if that is fair.
I kind of let it slip through my fingers. And plus we had a few amp issues with that when we started recording Hypnagogia. Like my usual setup on every record's a diesel.
Okay.
Amp with my Mesa Boogie, and I have a VHT Pitbull.
Oh, nice.
The Pitbull like blew a fuse that didn't get on the record, and I usually rent the diesel for like Ultramorse, for Quietus, or Entities of Light. But I didn't do it. I got lazy, and we used whatever amp he had at the studio. And it kind of like people picked up on that those missing things that were on every Evoken record. So the last record, I made sure I had everything right. and has all the amps that we used on the previous records. So
You know,
I
it
didn't
is.
miss it. I didn't miss out on anything. I didn't skip anything. So
The only thing I would say is Hypnagogia was more of a melodic album. So I don't
Yeah.
know if I don't know if you would have taken the sound that we used on previous albums with the diesel and everything on melody would have come out. I don't know how that would have come out. So it's kind of hard to say, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should be noted that Hypnagogia is still a killer album. I think it's an awesome album. It just has a slightly different vibe to it than
Yeah.
the Quietist.
we were telling the story of his. It was like my first time, like where it was an official concept record. Like, when
Okay.
he gave me the lyrics, and it was like, to me, it was like he was handing me a script, and I was an actor, and I was acting these lines out, and that's why there's like a lot of spoken word on that record. Of course,
Mhm.
like, it wasn't
You're
like
telling a story.
each song was a separate title and a separate thing. It was all like one story, so like it was kind of felt like it was like a movie almost. So
And that it does. It sounds a little bit more kind of soundtracky for you,
Yeah.
for the band in a way.
a little bit.
But again, man, that is not a remotely bad record, even by
No, I
any
know.
stretch.
no,
I mean, I wouldn't look at that as like your, I don't know.
nah, I'm proud of the record, dude.
Yeah, we're proud of it. It's just like
Absolutely.
I knew like, this new one was gonna be. I was going for like the killer riffs, everything dark and twisted, and like this more was the subject matter was like pretty evil, So
Well,
like it was really
speaking of dark and evil, the track that you premiered at MDF, Lauds, right? That was the Lauds track, right?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Man, dude, holy! I heard that song and I'm like, oh man, this new album's gonna be a fucking mega banger, dude. Like I just kind of knew it watching as a newer fan. Like I'm not even a quietist. I didn't come in back then, so
Right.
I just kind of had that feeling. It's like, man, this is really fucking killer. How was it getting that track from demo to recording to stage ready? Was it a process, or was it pretty easy to get it rehearsed up and ready to go at MDF?
We were pretty tight with it. We made the record back we started tracking around November,
Okay.
and then by the time we finished, it was like February.
Yeah, I think it was February.
And then, but we didn't really. We rehearsed a little bit, a couple of times before Maryland Death Fest. So we've been playing that song for about 2-3 years.
Oh, you had it for a while. It's been long.
For a while.
Wow.
Subtle
So
little changes here and there, but the basic rhythms and everything was pretty much solid for a while.
I think that was the first song we wrote.
Yeah.
For this album, actually, yeah.
I started writing these riffs. I started writing around 2018.
Okay, so it's been
right after Hypnagogia.
It's been a long, slow process of development.
Like
Do you
I have
find-
on my iPhone, I have the actual memos of
Yeah.
the tracks.
I got
So,
a
like,
ton of them too. Yeah.
So I kind of have like exact date when I wrote. Let me see. Hold on. So the first riff in Matins was written September 23rd, 2022.
Wow. Okay. Do you John, do you typically write on electric or acoustic, or how does that work? Or can it be any combination? Because I typically weirdly write a lot of my riffs on acoustic, because I know if they sound killer on an acoustic, they're gonna sound way better on an electric.
It depends on if I'm sitting on the couch with my acoustic, just learning
Strumming,
random
fucking
songs
around.
on YouTube. Let me learn how to play
Right.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'll come up with something. I was watching The Wrestler, the movie The Wrestler.
Yeah.
And there was a scene where he's sitting in the van and it's this melody playing. I started messing around on the guitar. I'm like, what if I put electric on that with delay? Then here's a riff.
Yeah.
It's not a total ripoff, but it's just like, inspired something in me.
Always, dude. Like the best albums for me are the albums I listen to and they make me immediately want to go pick up my guitar and play.
Yeah.
Because that's the sign to me that's good, because it's triggered something in here that's made me go, all right, I gotta go jam. I gotta jam. Like those riffs just got me fucking hot and horny right there. Man. I gotta go. You know what I
gotta
mean?
rub it one out.
I gotta rub one out on the neck, right? So,
Yep.
but yeah, that track is killer, and you got some nasty fucking pinch harmonics on Lauds, man. Like you know, not Zach Wild, but pretty fucking close, man. Like it's that, you know,
Well,
you know that.
it's if you listen to what song for My Dying Bride is
Forever People.
Forever People.
Plus, yeah, immolation used it a lot,
Immolation.
incantation.
Oh yeah, Immo, yeah, for sure.
Death, of course, you know.
But you don't do that typically a lot in songs.
No,
I mean,
this is actually the first riff I ever had pinch harmonic as part of the riff.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I never wrote. I don't think I've ever wrote a riff that had like actual, like has to be in every third measure or whatever, every second measure.
But here's what I call them. I didn't call them just pinch harmonics. I called them. There's lots of nasty killer pinch harmonics on volume on this album because they just have that like I'm fucking sedated pinch harmonic sound, right? You know. So that was killer. And then you go into that kind of Brave Murder Day, washy catatonia thing that's happening. And I didn't bring up catatonia. I probably should have, because there's you know, the Paradise Lost catatonia thing is there. And then you do Prime, which is cool. And this is another avenue of your, I believe, listening habits from what I read, that you guys aren't just death metal dudes entirely. You're not all just metal dudes. That's exactly what I was just going to say. The Net Prime is the Dead Can Dance track on the album.
Yes.
It's an interlude, but it's very Realm of the Dying Sun-ish.
Yes.
Maybe the second Spleen and Ideal. It's got a little bit of that in there, that gothic thing. And I fucking love
Disembowelment.
Pardon me?
The Disembowelment song had the same type of feel.
Yep.
What was that?
Trial of the Bow.
No, off Disembowelment. I think female vocal.
Oh yeah.
Talk a little bit about those non-metal influences that you guys have in your heads in your daily lives that affect Evoken music, Evoken sound.
On Prime, like the acoustic work on there, that's Ron. He was just like, because we let him hear, like we're like, John was like, put on Dead Can Dance. Let me show you. He's like, all right, bring it up. And he brought it up, and he's like, he went, grabbed the guitar, and he's just like, bing, 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 boom, bing, and then he got it.
It sounded pretty much like that too, Vince. It was weird that you got that down perfectly, man.
That's why I forced him to do vocals on the record. He's like, he could be a voiceover actor. Like,
yeah.
Amazing.
Ron really like made that track.
It's so cool. It's such an ethereal, vibey sort of thing, and it's got the Arabic sort of scale type thing going on there. That's really cool. The next to last track, I don't have that noted here. What's it called? Vesper. Yeah. Vesper is like almost Tangerine Dream. It's your keyboard player kind of really creating these really cool cinematic atmospheric soundscapes that kind of transition into the final track. But for me, the banger track so far has been Sext, S-E-X-T. And I kind of wanted to play that one, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to play the one track that's
the one with the blast beat at the end with the bass, right?
Yeah, it's and that's the song that you got a lot of Kenny Hickey typo.
Yes.
Shimmering. I call it shimmering, where you've got that translucent guitar sound where it just sounds like you can reach in and touch the sound. You know what I mean?
Lycia also.
What's that?
Lycia. Have you heard
Lycia? Oh, Lycia for sure. Collide.
Yeah.
Black Taper, Blue Girl.
Yeah. Very 80s vibey in a lot of ways. What do you use to bring up that sound? What do you dial in with that, John? Do you use a multi effects, or you a pedal guy, or?
When we started recording the cleans, I made Ron go back to the split that we did with Beneath the Frozen Soil.
Mm-hmm.
Like a split we made. Omniscient is on there, and Vestigial Fears.
I haven't heard that
record's
one.
like, yeah, that record's like forgotten. We did 4 tracks on that record, and like one of our best songs, I think. So I brought that up, and he just like, I said, I want this clean again, and he did everything on. I hate to break your heart, but everything was like all the cleans was all Pro Tools. It was all
So
through
it's all
Cubase.
plugins.
Yeah, it was
All
all like
plugins,
Ron,
yeah.
because Ron is like an accomplished musician, worldwide musician, you know.
Of course,
So
Bumblefoot.
he heard it and he got the sound up, and we were like, that's it. I wasn't even playing through a real amp at that point. It was just all through, you know, his stuff. But
Yeah.
live, I have a processor, I have a reverb pedal, delay pedal, and that's how I get the live sound.
Do you stick with mostly analog pedals, or do you do the
Yeah,
digital, or no? Okay, you're all analog. Okay.
Where's-
'Cause
As long as we play in the States, but when we go on tour or we take a plane somewhere, I can't bring all my stuff. We have like a floor pedal.
See, I got this bad boy, and I feel like I need a fucking aerospace
Helix?
engineering degree to figure out what to how to do with it, man. It's it's like
Got a Helix?
no, that's the quad cortex.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the neural DSP. I've got like the Petrucci, the Mesa 2 Mark C package, the Gojira package. So it makes me sound like I'm a much better guitar player than I actually am. So
We need all the help we can get.
absolutely,
Yeah,
man,
sure.
for sure. What I really dig about Sex though is you get into that massive towards the latter half of the track, you totally get into that octave droning thing of Paradise Lost and Lost Paradise. There's just that big riffy sort of dirgy drone section that's just killer as fuck, man. I mean, so I guess I gotta ask, like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It was Total Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride Symphonaire.
Yeah.
That's where I got that inspiration from. I was like, Don, do a high end cello over this riff, and like was this, you know. That's
And
what
he
it is.
doesn't, in seeing you guys live, he just has one keyboard. Like, what? I mean, he's not got like a bank of synths.
know.
Do you know what he's using at all? You have any idea?
I think he's using a Korg. I'm not sure if it's a Korg.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, it's not like you guys need like Jeff Wakeman or something, or Jeff Wakeman, Rick Wakeman. Jeff Wakeman? Who the hell is that guy? Rick Wakeman. It's not like you need a dude up there that's wanking away or Jordan Rudess or something like that. You need it for a lot of the ambience that surrounds all these floating sections in the songs.
But Don does write a lot of great lines. Like we
Oh,
find
yeah.
that when we had to get somebody to fill in for him, they were like, wow, he really writes really good lines. It's not just like he's not just following the guitar chord. He's really, he's doing chords, and so he's really well schooled.
Yeah, he creates a lot of accompaniment parts.
Yes.
That you can play over and have a lot of single note lines that allow that it fills that space, so there's not a lot of dead air that you're trying to fill with other stuff. So you guys have had some shifting lineups over the years. Is that just a matter of guys just losing interest, or just you're not playing enough for them, or they're not as interested in the music, or
Just life.
all those things?
Yeah,
People gotta like move. Like Chris moved to Florida, so it wasn't that he was.
let's start from the beginning. So we had is you guys with Phil and Rob, and how that break up.
Rob moved to Alaska,
Okay, there's that.
so we
There's
couldn't
that,
do
yeah.
I don't know why.
That makes rehearsals a little difficult.
I mean, we can't do it in Alaska. Phil went to school, to college. Bill Manley came in.
He's the bass player
The
on
bass
Shades
player.
of Descending.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're still in touch. He's a cool guy.
Cool guy, but back then he was
Don't.
it was like you had to. So we had to go
Careful,
on,
Vince.
find
Careful,
another bass
Vince.
player.
Careful. We could get sued. I don't want to get sued. All right.
Nah, Bill's a good guy. He's a
Yeah,
good
we love
guy.
Bill,
We love
man.
Bill. And Dario joined.
Dario,
on keyboard.
he was. Oh, forget it. He was amazing. He would come to rehearsal like with Quietus, for instance. He wrote the second track, Withering Indignation. He came with the guitar riff, melody riff, and the keyboards. Like, John, play this. Like, he would do that. Like, he would come like he would even demo songs like on the split. No, one of the demos, like one of the tracks is all him, like with his little drum machine, and he did the guitar tracks. He was amazing.
But he moved. He went.
Yeah,
He went out to back to Seattle, I think, because that's where he came from, Seattle.
Okay. Yeah.
Steve then left, and then we had Craig Pillard for a little bit.
Is he still in the area with you guys, like up in that area, or?
Yeah, Craig was up in the area.
He was in South Plainfield. He lived in a house with Jim Rowe, the drummer from Incantation.
Is he still doing Disma? I'm not real familiar with. Okay, I don't know.
They're
You guys
playing
are
Chicago Metal Threat. I think they're playing like next week or something.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good transition point there, real quick. You guys don't do a lot of touring. That's just the reality, okay? I mean, like 22 looks like that was one of the years you did a lot of touring, actually, for you guys. And that was maybe like 15, 20 dates.
Coming again.
Okay, so you're going to be doing more touring on this album.
In 26, yeah. We're setting up a European tour right now.
Okay, well, killer. Any chance of doing the States, or is that a little bit more of a difficult thing?
It's going to be States. Right now, there's a couple of things we might be doing, like one-off. It's just a matter because we have to live, so we have work.
I can't take off like.
Well, I was just going to ask you guys aren't like, rolling in you're not rolling in Rolls Royces and stuff from Evoken.
No, rolling in dumpsters.
I can't believe this, man. I can't believe it.
Shopping carts, more like it.
Shopping carts. ShopRite or Giant? Which one? I mean,
Lidl. They get the best carts. You can make a total 90-degree turn.
That's a New York thing, man, because I don't know who that is. So, but okay. So yeah. So for you guys, it's a matter of you're adults and you have responsibilities and you got to take care of, I'm assuming, families or whatever the situation. You're adulting, right?
Yeah,
and so
we try to make it as much as we can.
Would you let me throw this at you? If you ever had a chance, like say Metallica hit you up, said, "Hey, we want you to go out. We want you to do 150 dates with us, opening for us." Like, would you say no, Vince? No.
Yeah, I'd fuck no.
No way.
Hell no.
No, that's just not your thing. That's not your thing.
I have to get someone to fill in.
It's not my thing.
I was gonna say, John, sounds like you'd have to get a new drummer.
I don't, I'm not a tomato guy. I don't like tomatoes like raw, and they're gonna come flying at us.
Oh, well, that's true.
Like
that's true. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's just say hypothetical here. Okay, let's say the butt rockers that listen to fucking Metallica now, not the dudes like us that were there that listen to Metallica when Metallica were a fucking real thrash band. No offense, I do not have any slight on those guys at all. If I was in their position, I'm not so sure I wouldn't have done it too, because they're living way up there, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. But the music that they make now, I don't even listen to it. I haven't listened to anything since Death Magnetic, and I didn't even like that very much.
Yeah, been a while.
And that's okay. The problem with that I have is the type of fan that the newer fan that they brought in. And I'm not being an elitist here. I'm not being a gatekeeper. Okay, that's fine. You want to have those fans, that's fine. But 25 years ago, when all you ever heard was on the radio, terrestrial radio, when it still existed, every third song was a fucking Metallica song. It was always the same 4 or 5 songs. Yeah. And they're like, do you guys know that there's shit from Kill 'Em All and No Like the Leather? Do you even know about that stuff? They don't know about that stuff. It's programmed radio, right?
Yeah, it is.
That's the problem I have with Metallica now. But let's just say the butt rockers were totally into Funeral Doom. Would you go out then, Vince?
No.
So you're telling me that if they offered us like
because
$100,000 a show?
Yeah.
You go to a stadium show. It sounds like shit.
John, you're getting a new drummer. It's coming up. I can tell.
That could be totally life changing.
Yeah, it would be. It would be life changing. Yeah.
But stadiums just.
I mean, we would offer to do a little bit of a U.S. tour, and it would have been us headlining and whoever was opening, or locals or some other band. And Vince was just like, "We're gonna play in the middle of the country, like in Kentucky somewhere. It's just gonna be real lame.
22 people. Yeah.
And it's gonna be like, we're gonna probably lose money. But someone like Metallica expects us to come on the road, or even like, we we would love for like Triptychon or Celtic Frost or
Yeah.
try and put Death to
That's
say,
different.
we're gonna do some show, like 5 shows along
That's
the East
different.
Coast. Let's do it.
That's-
Jump on that. But to do something like we already know we're successful in Europe, but it's to a point where we're definitely not going to lose money. We don't make a lot, but
Right, but you'll at least it'll
and
justify
it's one of the
doing.
most amazing. It's one of the most amazing experiences to play. Like we played Brutal Assault Festival.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable. It's like
is that Belgium? Is that Belgium or Denmark?
that was in Czech Republic.
Oh, Czech. Right. Yeah.
We went on the first day we went on last at midnight.
Ah,
And it was everybody was still fresh, so we had at least 10,000 people in front of us.
and everybody was good and drunk right there, but not
they
like
loved
wasted.
it. They loved
Yeah.
it. It was, I think they loved it anyway, but it was amazing. And you don't really get Maryland Death Fest was great also.
Of course,
That was
they
sold
do it
out.
the best.
That venue was sold out for the day.
Hellfest.
Hellfest
was great.
Well, let me ask you this
No.
real quick, guys. Can I keep you for 10 minutes and I'll get you out of
Yeah,
here?
of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's a Sunday afternoon, and I mean, this nerd
Okay.
right here. You don't want to deal with this nerd too much longer, but I do have beautiful.
I love it.
I do have beautiful hair. I'm just gonna say that. When you typically, so now when you go out, when you get the invite to a festival where you're playing to a fairly large crowd, how is that for you guys as musicians on stage? I always ask this to almost every band or artist I talk to. Like, those things are huge. I mean, like Hellfest, you said. I mean, I think Maiden, they had like 110,000 people or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And how is it for you as an artist to get up there on stage? Is it very unnerving to get in front of a giant crowd like that? Or do you actually feel like there's a barrier between you and, like, almost like you're disconnected from it because they're back a ways and it's like you don't, versus like a small club where 100 people are?
Yeah.
Or like MDF, I think you guys were full. That whole night was fucking stacked, man. I mean,
yeah.
God damn, that night was stacked. Dusk was fucking, like, I felt bad for some of you guys having to follow Dusk because they were fucking sick, man.
Yeah.
And then I think you came on, Mournful was next, and it was you guys, then Mournful, and then Shape, yeah. So it was like Doom, Funeral Doom the whole night, and it was like glorious, right? But there may have been 1,500 people in there, maybe somewhere in that range, maybe a little more, something like that. Yeah. Tell me the dynamic that's going through your head when you're walking onto a giant stage where there's 10,000 people, like you said, John, versus 100 or 200.
The thing is, like, when the PA is that massive and it's like really well run festival, and you feel like, I'm not saying I'm a god, but you feel like godly because like now your guitar is like just a little. As soon as you dig into a riff, it's so effective now.
Crushing,
so loud and powerful, and your vocals are like covering the whole area now. You sound like a monster,
Right.
It just gives me more power. Except I get nervous, like when I have to go to a clean section, I'm all alone for like 15 seconds.
Am I gonna fuck up and everybody's gonna know? Yeah.
No finger cheese. I can't mute a note by accident. Those moments I get a little shaky, but for the most part, I get fired up more because I know I have like this. Now everything's gonna sound right. I'm saying, like, it's gonna be powerful, and I can hear myself through the PA monitor. Instead of like struggling to hear myself sing, which helps me. Any vocalist, if they can hear themselves, they're on point. Most of the night.
Yeah, and you guys were excuse me, at MDF. You guys were playing through real amps. You weren't doing sim stuff. I noticed Randy was having some issues with his head though, because I saw him go over and bang on his head a couple times. Because
that's my head he was banging on.
Oh, that's your head he was banging on.
Yeah, I own all the equipment.
Oh shit!
It's like now he owes me a head. No, but it ended up being a goddamn speaker cable. That's all it was. It was like this loose, and it wasn't the head. It was just a speaker cable. We found out when we came back. We tried to figure out what was going on. It was just a stupid speaker cable. So, but it happened.
It sounded great though. I mean, that was a very small glitch. Although I think I have it on video. I think I do have it. Because I was like right in front of him. I could tell he was frustrated at a certain point because he's like,
and it was throwing him off his game a little bit too.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, timing wise and everything. How did you feel that MDF performance came off? Like, what were your when you guys walked off stage? What were the first words out of your mouths? Do you remember?
I had no idea he was going through that on my side of the stage.
No, I mean as a whole, the
I
performance.
thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. And
I did too, man.
And like, for instance, you came up to me, like, I don't know you, I don't know who you were, but you
Nope.
recognized me from playing that night, and that makes me feel like amazing. Like, that's just like I'm sitting there watching a band, and someone taps me on the shoulder, like, "Oh, you guys, you played the other night? Yeah, you guys are great." Makes me so goddamn happy, man. It's like the opposite of funeral doom.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Yeah, it's great.
Next time, if I get to see you again, I'll tap you on the shoulder and go, "You guys were miserable, man. So fucking miserable."
Whisper in his ear.
Man.
Well, that might get a little weird, Vince, if I
Yeah,
whisper in his ear. That might get a little strange. I'm not one of those kind of guys. Just saying. So, yeah. So you're working on a tour, routing it, I guess, through Europe. Then when
we have Jose from Spain. That's our European tour manager. His company's called Doomed Events.
Okay.
And this will be our third tour, and every tour he did with us worked out perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
What can you give a general idea, like when?
So what do we have lined up so far?
No.
You have to say date, just time frame.
Good job, John.
Time frame.
August, last of July, beginning of August.
So next year.
I think we have a show booked August 6th. I think we're locked in for something August 6th, so it's going to be around a week after, around that time.
Do you have any offers for anything here in the States?
We've had a couple.
But the timing didn't work out for us. But there's a couple things coming up soon. Not soon. It'll be in 2026, but and Mexico too.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that if we demanded a little more money this time around to play shows, that it makes us a tool, or like, because that's one thing. We were actually do a festival in Virginia. And I said we need this amount of money, and it was like,
no, I think
too much.
I think you have to as a band.
Yeah.
Going into this, you have to know what your bottom line is, because if you walk into something and you lowball yourself simply to get eyeballs on you, and you walk away where all of you guys are dipping into your own bank accounts to finance it, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Not 30 years in.
I mean, no, and I get it that you want to please your fans, because your fans, while maybe, comparatively speaking to Metallica, the number is much, much smaller. You can't, sorry, Vince, I don't know if you knew that. But you can't fuck yourself. You just can't do that. Not in today's economic situation. I mean, contrary to what people are saying out there, I ain't seeing it getting better. I'm seeing it getting worse. So that's just me. That's my politics. Just saying. But you can't cut your nose off to spite your face. So if a festival's saying, "Hey, we'll give you the closing thing, and you need $10K to make the trip work for all you guys," and they go, "But we can only give you $5K." It's like, why would you do that? I wouldn't do it. Doesn't make any sense.
See, $5K is, if we got $5K, I would shut my mouth. That's the problem. We're getting like offered way lower.
The thing is, you have to take into consideration that you get paid for the show or whatever, festival, what have you. But as long as they're paying for the flights, the hotel, the transportation to and from,
right,
then we'll take a lesser amount on the on the fee.
Well, of course, of course. I mean, I know the guys at MDF take care of their bands pretty well.
Absolutely.
Because they're fucking serious about it, and they know they've been doing it a long time. I don't know if you guys played you played that early on, like 12, 13? 9, right? That wasn't the first one though, right?
Okay.
That wasn't the first one though, right? It was like
No, we played 3 times. I think it's our third time.
Yeah, it was the third time.
And I would imagine that it's gotten better each offer, because they've gotten bigger each time, right? But I think the other side of that is too, a lot of bands these days are glorified T-shirt salesmen now.
Yeah,
It's just the reality. That's because albums aren't selling. For guys like me, our age, we still like to have, I mean, if you look around here, man, you can see over my shoulder. I spend fucking insane amounts of money on physical media. Yeah, it's stupid because my kids are going to be like, Dad, who the hell's Evoken? We're just going to sell this stuff. But I got to own it. While I'm here, I got to own it. You know what I mean? I got to have it in my hands.
Yeah.
The newer generations, they don't do that, man. It's all here, right? It's,
streaming.
And, I was talking to Steven Wilson about this the other day when I had him on, and we were talking about, is there an end point for physical media at some point? I don't know if there are, but based on the younger generations that don't even listen to full albums, that buy, yes, there are these young kids, thankfully, like I have kids that they love Jeff Buckley and Chris Cornell and, Pink Floyd and those classics. So my daughter wants to have George Harrison albums. I mean, that means a lot to me that I instill that in my kids, but they're the rarity, not the norm anymore. Yeah. It's all we've been coaxed to do this. I refuse to do this. I just won't do it. Yeah. I will buy fucking CDs, and if the car that I have doesn't have a CD player in it, I will route that fucking bitch out and put a CD player in. You know what I mean? That's just what I'm going to do. So
pretty soon you won't even use that. It'll go right into your ear.
The microchip in your head, right?
Yeah,
right?
Or there's one where you can get the sound through your hand. It goes up the one tendon to the part of the ear.
Yeah, I don't want to do
that.
that.
Can have something you could just change tracks doing that.
Not gonna happen to this kid right here. No thanks. I'm an old man. Not gonna happen to me, right? So there are some tour things in the works for at least Europe and maybe something in the States, like a one-off or something like that. Do you guys still go out to shows?
Yeah, well, we can.
I went to see Conan last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play the city? He played the city?
Brooklyn.
Okay. Yeah. How was that?
Great. And he made a good point. Jonathan was on stage and he's like, he said something like, this is our 11th US tour. And Brooklyn's always come out to support. And like, that's something like, like he's pretty much doing that for a living now. I'm not sure if it's family situation, if he has kids or whatever, but
right.
Like he's toured the United States 11 times. I think they came out like 2009. So like that's
the gaps are getting wider.
But it's hard. It's a three-piece band. A little easier to afford to tour with three guys instead of five.
Yes. Yeah.
So, let's see where they are 30 years from now.
Well, you bring up a great point in that a band like Dream Theater has a huge machine behind it, or even compared to you guys, but compared to like Metallica, it's not even the same. Like when I drove up in front of the venue the other night in Reading, Pennsylvania, which you probably have heard of, they played a nice little 1700 theater, or 1750 I think it was. They had 3 fucking tour buses, man. 3 tour buses, full on the real tour buses.
Right.
And I'm like, those things cost like $30,000 a month, man. Yeah. You're talking a fucking 100 G's just to go out for just that.
The drivers,
the venue seems small. It's like pretty small, 1,700.
And here's the crazy thing: there was a massive section in front of me, and when I say massive, we're talking 25, 30 seats that were completely empty.
Wow.
I paid $112 for that ticket. That's a lot.
Yeah,
considering I paid 300 and something and saw 80 something. Well, I didn't watch 80 bands, but there were 80 bands I could have watched at MDF back a couple months ago.
Right.
That's a lot of money. Now, granted, they played for 2 hours and 40 minutes, which they give you value for the money, right. But it's like, man, dude, like, why are there so many empty seats here? Like, this is crazy. And the reason I think it is because fucking Live Nation is draining the goodwill of people like me that want to see these shows, want to support our bands. I didn't buy a shirt, man. I couldn't really justify spending $112 on a fucking ticket, $20 on parking. I didn't buy a beer. I was like, fuck that. I'm not paying $18 for a shitty.
Probably $40. Right?
What's that?
Probably
Shirts are probably like 40, 50.
$45 for a t-shirt now,
Yeah.
which means the venue's probably taking 20 to 30%.
Yeah, they have to. That's what they're doing now. They're taking a cut of the merch. They tried dropping that at one point. I don't know if they still are. They bought out all the clubs and kept the names of the clubs so people wouldn't. It's the whole scam going on with them.
Well, and they're literally fucking people blind is what's going on, man. I mean, it is really sad to see. That's why I'll go all day to a show like last night that was $18 to support my buddies. Buy a $20 shirt. You know, I own 4,000 fucking concert shirts. I could never wear all of them, right? This is a pretty evil looking one. A little bit of Acts of the Unspeakable on there from my buddy's Diva. $18. I'll do that all day long, every day. Dream Theater was kind of a special thing. I'm going to see Steven Wilson. I bought front row seats because he's a good friend, and then he put me on the guest list after all. Anyways, I'm like, hey, I got it. It's cool. But I can't do that much anymore. I'm not going to go pay. Deftones are playing in Baltimore in a couple of weeks. I'd love to go check them out. That's the one band of that era I really dig. $220 for a good seat. I'm like, not happening. Hershey, Pennsylvania, Slayer. The big Slayer gig is in Hershey. Cheapest seat. That's a good seat. $245. I'm like, nope, not going to do it. I don't have that much interest in it. It's just messed up, man. They're and now you buy a vinyl, and this is no disrespect to you guys or any artist. $47 I spent on your vinyl.
Yeah, it's
47.
47. That's a double vinyl, but what's that?
I was told I thought they were going for $30 at MDF. They were 47.
No, the new one.
Oh, he's
the new one. Because now shipping's like fucking $10.
I just sent a couple of packages out to Australia, Germany, and
crazy.
$75 a ship. I had to reach out to the person asking to send me like $15 more.
Yeah. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to spend that? Yeah.
That's why the best option is what I'm trying to do is we have for Season of Mist, we have a print on demand. Yeah. So I want to find t-shirt distributors over in Europe so we could just ship it from that location instead of all the way over here.
That's what every band should be doing, really. And because then that way you'll get some of your money back, that you put into them. And I know because I make shirts for my show. I know what they cost, what the markup is, and I keep them cheap, man. I keep them at $20. And right now I have $5 shipping, which is probably not good for the States anymore. I'm probably losing a couple bucks. And if you're overseas and you want one of my show shirts, which I'll get you guys some shirts, by the way. You can't. I just am like, you got to contact me, dude. I gotta check and see what it's going to cost because, like you said, Australia, it's probably $15, $20 to ship a t-shirt, and that's
it was 25 and change. And
is it really?
20, yeah. It costs more to ship it than the shirt itself.
The best thing to do though is like to find distributors in other countries and work with them on relicensing and reissuing your older releases or like patches, shirts, anything.
And that costs you guys money because you got to get a lawyer involved to write up contracts and do that kind of stuff.
The best way to do it though is just, being we're from the U.S., we can handle the U.S. But finding places overseas in different countries, South America, Europe, that could take care of it for us there. So we try to work with a lot of distributors like that want to reissue our albums for their area so they can get it to the people in their area. Instead of ordering from us and getting charged $150 just to get a fucking t-shirt. You
just mentioned Season of Mist and print on demand. Is that do you guys actually do the fulfillment of that, or are you talking about your Bandcamp?
Season of Mist does that.
They do that. Okay.
Yeah, they have one design as a print on demand.
So
they
John,
want other designs too.
But John, the one you said you ship some stuff out. You have your own fulfillment through your own website from you.
Yeah. We have, we use Hotel.
Okay. I got to get me an Evoken shirt because you sold out of them at MDF. They were gone by the time I got over there, man.
Just give me your address, man. I think I have your phone number. What's your first name again?
Jeff with a G, Geoff. I think I did give you my phone number, didn't I?
I think I have it.
You're right. Jeff Gasmask or Gasmask Jeff or something like that. That's right. I think I did. And if not, I got Vince. I got the email. So I want to get you guys out of here. Any final thoughts on the album as a whole? Like you said, you started recording. One thing we didn't touch on real quick, you brought him up a couple times, was Ron Thal. Obviously, Bumblefoot. He played with Guns N' Roses. He played with Sons of Apollo with Mike and Jeff Scott Soto, and he's got his own solo thing. Who else does he play? Tony Harnell from TNT.
He has Brian May on his solo record.
Steve Vai, Brian May.
Oh shit, I didn't know about
those guys.
Yeah, he's just hanging out with some like no-name dudes.
How
long? You known him quite a while then. How'd you get hooked up with him?
I got hooked up with him through my friend Rocco, who I went to high school with.
Wait a minute, hold on, John.
All right.
Rocco? I mean, is there a more New York, New Jersey name ever? A guy named Rocco that lives in New Jersey? I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you.
But he actually guitar techs for Ace Frehley right now.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. So he taught me how to play guitar back in high school.
Okay.
And, when we were doing a cover of we were doing a Black Sabbath cover. We did Snowblind.
Mm-hmm.
We were looking for a place to record it. My friend Rocco said she called my friend Ron up. You know, he makes his own records and he has a place in Staten Island. And that was the hookup. And when we went there, it was just like mind blowing. Like just sitting in front of this guy, having him like just fiddle around on guitar was like unbelievable. It was like,
get out
like
of here,
John
man.
Petrucci coming into your room and like, let me show you some riffs. It was unbelievable.
It was just like nobody. It was like we were asking ourselves, like, how come we know this? He's not on the cover of Guitar fucking magazine. How come he was like very just like his own solo thing, very small.
And he does that fretless shit that you're like, what? You know, so you get all those microtonal things that are like, huh? Like, come on, man. Yeah, and he seems like he's the coolest guy. He seems like he's super down to earth.
I love Ron to death.
Yeah, you got to get me a hookup. Get him on my show here now. I want to talk to him.
Absolutely, we could do that. Ron's a great guy. He's an amazing musician, but he's a great human being and a fantastic friend.
What do you think regarding Medacium? What did he bring to the table for you? That did he just let you be you, or did he force you to be you, or what was the
we went in with the intentions of making it sound like our older stuff and that he recorded, like, you know,
right,
Hiatus and Embrace the Emptiness. And so like he still had the files from like old records in his computer.
Wow.
He brought up the separate files of like Quietus.
That's
like,
great.
I can't believe we still have this. We still saved this stuff from like 25 years ago.
Ron always makes the point. He's just like, you guys got to do what you guys do. I'm here to help you get to where you need to go.
Right.
So it's not what I think, it's about what you guys do. You know, so he's very hands off. He'll just put in his input here and there.
Did he have any?
I
was going to say, did he have any moments that you recall where he was like, "Nah, that's not. No, we want to do it. You really want to go this."
A couple of my guitar leads. You know, he was
like,
maybe move this note, bend this a little higher, and like, you know, just like stuff like that. Because he has a perfect ear for everything. So like, you know.
And you were like, when Ron Thal speaks, I listen. Except for when Rocco calls, then I listen to Rocco. So
I want my face bashed in, you know.
Yeah, that's
very down to earth guy. Very down to earth.
Guys, it's a fucking killer album, man. It is killer.
Thank you.
I'm kind of pissed at you. I'm pissed at Ruins of Beverast. I'm pissed at fucking Bluthaus Nord. And I'm actually pissed at Johan Lundqvist of Candlemass. I'll tell you why. I had my #1 album all worked out back since March. I'm like, nothing's touching this #1 album for album of the year 25. And then you motherfuckers put this album out, and I'm like, God damn it, man. God damn it. And then, do you know what I'm talking about? Candlemass singer?
Yes.
Yeah, I met him.
Check out his solo album. It's called Johan Lundqvist, The Castle. It just was released in June from, I forgot, there's a tie into you guys. Shit, I'm glad I went down this road. I Hate Records from Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
he put it out on I Hate. They wanted to license it and put it out. I just got it. Actually, it's right. Hold on. very very unstately artwork. Very kind of
Very,
very
very
basic.
look like a diner like menu.
Dude, it's very basic, but I'll tell you what. This is one that they have a 250 edition of white vinyl. That's it.
Wow.
On I Hate Records. Only place you can get this is at Hell's Headbangers. So J Dog.
Right.
But this, if you love Tony Martin era Black Sabbath, like fucking Headless Cross, Rainbow Rising, Ronnie James Dio, Holy Diver, Last in Line.
Absolutely.
This album is fucking killer. So this comes in, and I'm like, oh, man, come on, man. Like, stop with this shit. Like, bands shouldn't be allowed to put albums out after like June. That's kind of what I. But you guys coming out, and then I'm a big Blue House Nord fan. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah, I love him.
He's got a new one coming out in November, and I don't know if you know Ruins. I assume you know Ruins of Beverass out of Germany.
Yeah.
He's got a new one coming out the end of November, and he always comes through with epic shit. So I'm like, man, I may not know what my album of the year is until like December 29th or something. You know?
Just throw them up in the air, and whenever one lands on heads to face the cover, that's your album of the year.
Well, I can guarantee you something, guys. This is probably a top 5 album for me, easy.
Thank you, man.
It could very easily be a top #1 album, man. You'll have to tune in. If it is #1, I'll send you a link. If it's not, I'll be like, sorry guys, you were close, but maybe like fuck this guy, man. But listen, man, any last words for your fans out there that you want to hit on?
We hope you love the new record, and we really wanted to go back to the old days and like this, recapture our magic from like early 2000s. So that's what we're going for.
And if you want us to play in your area, sending us messages that you want us to play there, I love that. But you need to have a promoter get in touch with us for that to happen.
Listen, Vince already told you he's not coming out.
Yeah,
you already say he's not coming out unless
$100,000 now. I think that's not
$100,000. Nah. What, to play that shitty little club in Kentucky? $100,000? Nah.
I'll play the train station.
Well, listen, guys, man, it was a fucking joy talking to you, man. It was really fun.
Thank you, man.
Same here, man.
Hope you enjoyed it. I didn't lie. I do use the F-bomb a lot, but that's just what it is.
We all do.
I come from that era, so it is a fantastic record, right from the opening quarter tremolo pick note of Matins, which you're going to hear in a minute here. I'm going to throw that on, guys. If you want to dip out, you can. I'll just play it, but I'm going to throw that up for you guys to let people hear that. And yeah, man, like fucking killer. I hope I get.
Thank you. We'll be playing live soon, so check.
So he says. He says.
So I said.
I have a bad feeling I'm going to have to hire you guys to play my living room for like $50 and a box of Cheetos or something like that.
There you go.
Well, so if I get Rocco involved, he'll do anything I say. So.
There you go. All right, yeah.
Hey.
Get some muscle in there. So, all right, so we're going to throw the track on. Dudes, if you want to dip, I thank you so much, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right,
thanks,
I'll be in touch. Take
you
care.
Got it. Thanks, man.
Yep. All right, we're going to play this track from the new album here. And it is called Matins. And hopefully, I need to do something quick before we do this. Here we go.
I didn't want to hear if the mic is open.
Is it playing? Shit, it's not playing. Why is it not playing? Hold on a second. Oh, I got to share it. Duh. You know what? Maybe I can't play it. Hold it. We'll do this differently. Hold on. We're going to do this differently. Sorry. I'm going to have to play it on the YouTube feed because I can't play it through the jukebox thing. So my bad. I goofed there. I goofed. Here we go. Sorry about that. I goofed.
Gregory! Look, I get it. Everyone else...
All right. Let's do this real quick here. All right, that is the lead-off track on the new album Medacium by Evoken. Kings of Funeral Doom, man. It is goddamn crushing. It is so good. That album is just so fucking killer. I've been lucky enough to I've been streaming it for the last, I don't know, 3-4 weeks relentlessly. And it just gets better every listen. So my huge thanks to both Vince Verkay and John Paradiso for joining me for 90 minutes today. Really appreciate that. To all of you that popped in today. Also, I should note that coming up this week, Tuesday, the whatever day Tuesday is. Let me look here. The 9th? Does that sound right? Yeah, Tuesday the 9th. I've got Paul Kerr from November's Doom coming in at 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about their new album, which, damn it, I forget the name of off the top of my head. Shit. Let me look here real quick. I should have had that queued up, but I don't. Mandrake something? Major Arcana. Major Arcana. We'll be talking about the new album. See what Paul's up to. He's been on the program before. That'll be cool. And then Friday, the return of one of my guitar heroes as a kid, Mr. Frank Marino, is popping back in at 11 a.m. Eastern time, about 2 p.m. Eastern for Paul, 11 a.m. Eastern time for Mr. Frank Marino, and we're going to go over some more of his new pedal line that he's got going on. And what else? And a couple of things to note. I will be bringing these gentlemen on. Mr. Marcus McConan. Sorry, Marcus, if I butchered your name. And Kim Stramsholm. They wrote this book, Rotting Ways to Misery, about 5 years ago, I think it is, roughly. 2019, maybe 2020, five years ago. They're going to be coming on. We're going to talk Finnish death metal, and we're going to talk about this book. Don't have that set up yet, but towards the end of the month. And also, huge one to announce. Mr. V. Santura of Triptychon, Dark Fortress, and his studio, which I forget the name of, Woodshed Studio, maybe, something like that. Or In the Woods Studio, something like that. V. Santura is going to be locking in here shortly. I have 2 or 3 other pretty big names out there, like one that's huge that I'm trying to lock into a date before they go on tour here. But an industrial music pioneer, in my opinion, one of the, not the OGs, but definitely one of the first wave guys. He and his band are going out on tour soon. He's done a lot of production work for a lot of metal bands, so that kind of gives you a little bit of a cute clue. Trying to get him locked up and sorted out. So there you go. That track again was called Matins, Matins, off of Medacium, which comes out October 17th on Profound Lore from the killer band Evoken. And that's it. I think that's where we're at. We're going to end there. So thanks, everyone, for being here. Really appreciate it. And you have a good afternoon, all right? Oh, yeah, again, throw a little plug in. Going to get these guys in, too. Satanic Magic. Put on a killer blistering set last night, as did my good buddies in Diva. I'm hoping to have the Diva guys on, too. That's another one that we've been trying to work out schedule-wise. So hopefully I can get Steve and Ed and probably not Frank, but maybe, who knows, maybe Enrique in to talk about what's going on with Diva. So there you go. That's it. Peace out. Have a good afternoon.